Aye.
Just
Testing, can you hear me?
Yes.
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 Thank you.
What's up?
This meeting will come to order. It is now 2 p.m. on Wednesday, August 26, 2026, and this is the Board of Directors' regular meeting. We'll begin with a roll call. Christie?
Candy English,
Here.
Steve Reynolds,
Here.
Kirsty McHugh is present, Lanny Smith,
Here.
Jody Walker,
Present.
Nellie Johnson,
Here.
Dave Barker,
here.
Bart Hillier,
Here.
Chris McCrummen,
Present.
Barry Stock,
Here.
Scott Summers.
Here.
Thank you, Christie. Now we'll move on to Agenda 2, which is amend or adopt our agenda. Scott?
I just want to remind the board, and for those of you in the audience, item 7B is not quite ready, so we are ready to remove that one until further notice. I'm not asking you to amend the agenda. I'm removing it before it gets to you.
Thank you, Scott.
And Madam
Okay.
Chair,
Yes, Nellie?
on the agenda, I don't remember the order, but I would like to move from the consent agenda, the financials. Do I do that now or later? A little bit later. Okay, no problem.
Later.
Thank you.
That time.
Okay, at that time, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion to accept hold on.
I'm sorry. If you want to move them as an action item on today's agenda, then you would do it under consent. If you want a motion to remove them and motion them to a different day, you could do that now.
Thank you, Scott. Okay, I need a motion to accept the agenda. Do I have a motion?
Motion to accept the
Okay,
agenda.
Christie, motion to accept. Do I have a second? Okay, I'll second it. Candy, several people. So Christie made the motion and I seconded it. Okay, all in favor? Let's raise your hand to accept the agenda. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Unanimous. We accepted the agenda. Now we'll move on to my report. I want to welcome all the GVR members and GVR staff and the board, Scott Summers, CEO, and of course, Nancy. And thank you for everyone who has come to attend this meeting. We appreciate that you have a vested interest in what goes on at GVR, and we appreciate your feedback and that you care about what's going on in this organization. I would also like to remind everyone of our GVR mission statement. And it was actually reiterated by many of you who took the survey, by I think 90% of you who took the survey still believe that we follow our mission statement. So I'd like to read it again to everyone. Our mission is to provide excellent facilities and services that create opportunities for recreation, social activities, and leisure education to enhance the quality of our members' lives. I'd also like to review the GVR Board Credo, which states our purpose is to serve the best interests of our current and future members through responsible and effective governance of GVR. We represent all members and seek to ensure that all community interests are understood and considered in our decision-making. Before we begin the meeting, I want to go over some procedures. We will move through the agenda, possibly amending the agenda, or adding other items. For each action item, the director or CEO or CFO or a staff member will present that action item. That motion then needs to be made and seconded. Once the motion is seconded, the board will discuss the topic. Each board member is only allowed to speak twice to each action item. The exception to this is Scott, CEO, who may have other information to add. Once the board is done discussing the item, the floor will be open for attending members to voice their opinions and concerns. When you step up to the mic, please state your name and GVR number. You are allowed 2 minutes to speak, but please refrain from asking questions or entering into a dialogue with another director or staff member. Then the board will vote on the motion. This process will continue until we have proceeded through all action items. At the end of the meeting, members will again be asked to add further comments. I wanted to go ahead and just talk about our survey for a moment that went out in July. This is going to be in the president letter that's going to be in the GVR Now, which should be coming out next week. But we have had 2 work sessions so far, August 5th and August 24th, to review results of the survey and to work on our strategic plan, in particular our mission and vision statement, and looking at measurable objectives under those. Out of 5,585 randomly selected members, 1,183 completed the survey, giving us a response rate of 21%, which is significant. Additionally, 1,075 members participated in the open response survey. This is great news, especially as we need all of your feedback and participation to help us make the next 5-year strategic plan successful and help us really guide us in our decision-making. Briefly, the findings of the survey were highly favorable to GVR and to the wonderful GVR staff. In particular, important results are discussed here below. An overwhelming number of participants reported, again, that our current mission and vision statement of GVR accurately represents who we are. The major strengths of GVR are as follows. GVR maintains clean, attractive, well-maintained facilities. That's a big point we've been talking about in our strategic plan. GVR offers many high-quality activities, clubs, classes, and amenities. GVR creates and supports a welcoming, active, social, and healthy lifestyle, and the GVR staff are very helpful, responsive, and member-focused. Areas that we need to focus upon will be to strengthen our communication, transparency, and members' engagement, continue investing in facilities while planning strategically for the future, and to preserve GVR's value while maintaining affordability. So that, in short, is a summary of our survey. And again, we appreciate all of our members taking it. And it just reiterates what a wonderful organization we have here with GVR and its members. Okay, next, I'd like to move on to Scott's CEO report. Scott.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm going to give a couple updates on some of our projects. Our busy construction season is always the summer because we're inconveniencing less members. It doesn't mean that we have an aversion to year-round people. We really love year-round people, but we try to inconvenience the least amount of people possible. Abrego South pool and locker rooms, about 70% completed on those construction documents. We're hoping to move forward with actual construction sometime this fall. The West Center Lapidary Club expansion project is moving forward. We're anticipating wrapping that project up the end of this year with the club moving back in at the beginning of the year. So that's going along nicely. We've been doing a lot of value engineering. It's an expensive project, and we're working with the club, our project management team, and the contractor and architect to make sure that we're operating within the budget. Las Campanas Fitness Room expansion is well underway. It's almost completed. We really just have some cleanup and some fine tuning at this point. And then we have to bring in some new equipment shortly. We're expecting that will probably be opened within the next few weeks. So that'll be nice. Really nice new expansive facility. And then finally, for those of you that walked into the front door here and are here in person, our West Center membership expansion service is moving into what used to be our old box office and into the lobby here. And that is wrapping up. We're almost completed. The next 3 days, 4 days. We've got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We're going to be moving into this facility. So our administrative offices for member services will be closed Friday and Monday while we're moving. We're putting that in our e-blast for Friday. For members that need a guest pass, we're going to remind them they can always contact a COA, and you can get a daily pass from a COA very easily. They'll actually come to you. But we're excited about that, and it's a big move, and it's a big step for us to really create kind of a new entrance to GVR for new members here at West Center. So that's it. Any follow-up questions for me? All right. Well, thank you all.
Thank you, Scott. Now we're going to move on to committee reports, beginning with the Audit Committee. Mr. Barker.
Finally have something to say. We have a meeting scheduled for Thursday, September 10th at 1:30. So we'll be getting started.
Thank you, Dave. Next is Board Affairs. Mr. Steve Reynolds.
Thank you, Candy. The Board Affairs Committee met in June to discuss the changes in the CPM for all the bylaw questions passed in March's election. These recommendations from the Board Affairs Committee are in your packet today. I really appreciate all the committee's work in helping draft these. We looked at a couple other things, the candidate forums in the upcoming election. We considered cutting back from 2 to 1, and the majority of the committee wanted to keep 2 forums this year, but we changed the language in the CPM to have 1 or more forums so that we could possibly change that in the future. We also added some language for in the event there is a tie in a member election, um, how we would deal with that in a coin toss. So I'm looking forward to September's meeting so that we can finish up on all the CPM changes that we didn't get to in June. Thanks, Candy.
Thank you, Steve. Our next committee is Fiscal Affairs, Lanny Smith.
Thank you, Candy. The Fiscal Affairs met last week. We had two large items or 3 large items, one of which Scott is removing from the action items, so we'll not discuss that today. We also, the Fiscal Affairs meeting met to approve for recommendation the May, June, and July financials, including the June forecast. And then finally, we spent the bulk of our time receiving presentations from various clubs on capital improvement projects for next year and over for the next 3 or 4 years. I have to say that it's always exciting to hear from our clubs. It's always encouraging because it means there's an awful lot of participation. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Lanny. Next is Mr. Bart Hillier with investments.
Thanks, Candy. Nothing new to report. The Investments Committee next meeting is in October, I believe. That's it.
Thank you, Bart. Moving on now to our consent agenda. Consent agenda items are routine items of business that are collectively presented for approval through a single motion. A board member may request that an item be pulled from the consent agenda and placed under action items for separate discussion and action. Okay, we're going to look at the minutes first. The Board of Directors regular meeting minutes, June 24th, 2026. Oh, keep going. Oh, okay. Keep going. Okay, so in the board work session minutes and the financial statements, May, June, July financials. Okay.
Madam Chair,
Any comments? Yes, Nellie.
I'd like to move off the consent agenda, the May, June, and July financials to the action item.
Do we have a second? Do I need a second? Okay, I don't need a second. That's okay, Steve. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move that then to the action item. So that will be B, correct? Okay. Do we have any other comments about anything on the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as revised.
Okay, Mayor, Barry made the motion to approve the consent agenda. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Steve. So motion from Barry, second by Steve. All in favor, raise your hand to approve the consent agenda. Okay, I see 1 no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, and then 1 no is Lanny. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Now we can move on. Go ahead.
All right.
Is it action items?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to move on to the action items. The first is the Board Affairs Committee recommendations for board approval to the corporate policy manual changes.
Thank you. And Director Reynolds talked about this when he was giving his report for the Board Affairs Committee. Just as a reminder, the membership approved amendments to the bylaws in March, which affected language in the corporate policy manual. The Board Affairs Committee has reviewed that language based on the amendments to the bylaws, and you can see those really beginning in your attachment on page 20. I don't plan on going through all of these changes. Hopefully you've had a chance. Yep, you're welcome. Hopefully you've had a chance to review them. I'm here to answer any questions that you have. And we can clarify, Nancy or I can both clarify, hopefully. Ideally, we would like to have a motion to approve them all at once, or maybe a motion with some amendments at the same time. And I'll open it up. Any questions or concerns on red lines? Did I miss anything, Nancy?
No.
No.
Oh, Barry Stock.
Barry.
Barry, go ahead, please.
Thank you. I really have no questions. I just was going to make a motion to approve the
Great.
CPM changes as recommended.
Second.
Okay.
Jody.
All right, so the motion to approve as presented was from Barry and the second was from Jody. Can you put that back up again, Nancy?
Oh, sure.
Do you mind? Okay. The motion that has been seconded is move to approve the changes made to the CPM per staff request and board affairs approval. All in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Who am I missing? Did we get everybody?
Yourself?
You count yourself?
I thought I did.
We've got everybody with a hand up, so.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Jody.
Oh, Jody, okay. So it is all approved unanimously. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to move on to the financial statements for May, June, and July financials, and I think Nellie wanted to present something there.
Sorry. Madam Chair, I would like to propose that we postpone review of the financials in light of Dave Dixon's not being able to be here, and for discussion at our next week's meeting, then that also incorporates the economic forecast.
Do you mean the quarterly financial report?
The quarter,
forecast?
yeah, the quarterly financial report,
Ending June 30th.
ending June 30th, correct?
Right.
Okay, do we have a second for that motion
second.
from anyone? Okay,
I'll
Steve
second.
seconded that. So Nellie's proposal was to postpone the discussions until next week. Okay, Steve seconded that. Okay, do we have any discussion?
Madam Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
To speak on behalf of my motion, there's a lot going on in our 3 months financials. And I think we were particularly in looking at the June financials that were inside our book has the second quarter results. And that is something as in the past, and in April, we usually do a presentation to the GVR board as well as so our members can be informed of the results, but also the trends that are happening in our forecast, particularly in our revenues. Our budget's very complex, and so to have that presentation is kind of an educational session, but it also allows staff to say what the trends are as we're going towards the end of the year. As it relates to the financials, I respect the fact that the Finance Committee, FAC, is not meeting. But we do need to have an opportunity to have questions responded to. And this format here at the board is one opportunity to do that. There are some questions that I had that I would raise with regard to the year-end forecast I've already mentioned, but with regard to the home sales, David has refined the tracking mechanisms, which is an improvement. But there is a question that I have on capital refunds that I think that could be answered. And because it's such a big part of our revenue stream, it helps us better understand, and it impacts our initiative funds. I think it just better understands the funding that's available. And lastly, there's questions on the capital fund and the Abrego funding as represented on the page 18. So I think with Dave here, we can look at those. I don't consider those minor issues where we're talking about $100 here or there, really looking at larger questions on the funding mechanisms and more how it impacts some of our future reserve questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Nellie. Lanny?
Thank you, Candy. Respectfully, I'd like to remind the board that the FAC did recommend for approval the May, June, and July financials for approval to the board, which included the forecast, which also included a review of the capital projects that are ongoing. With regard to the Abrego pool, I'd also like to remind the board that that is a moving target until I think as Scott had already told us, we're 70% complete. We still have another 30% before we get any final quote. So it will continue to be a moving target until such time as the architect presents us with the final estimate. I also find it somewhat disturbing that Director Johnson is somewhat implying that the FAC is not meeting its fiduciary responsibility, because we are. We may not be meeting, and under the CPM, fiscal affairs meetings only really has to meet quarterly and can meet one or two additional times in the preparation of the budget. So we are meeting our CPM obligation. The treasurer is also meeting his bylaw obligations in holding the meeting, as well as reviewing the P&L statements, the balance sheet, as well as the cash flow reports, which is also done by FAC. And no, we don't have an in-face meeting. We have the financials are emailed to all of the members of the FAC. The FAC are given an opportunity to ask questions, at which time the CEO and the CFO have 5 days to respond. If we continue, if this, quite frankly, I think by delving, our CPM is very clear on the role of both the FAC and the board, and that is to act at a governing level. I'm going to suggest that what Director Johnson is suggesting is that the FAC and the board move to an operating approach to the financials. And I'm also going to suggest that by doing that, we are introducing a significant amount of risk. A board does not work at the operational level. Once the operations budget is approved, we then task the CEO with executing on that operating budget. So I suggest that we not approve this motion, that we approve the May, June financials as recommended by the FAC, and that we move forward. And then when we get to the August financials, we'll have a more up-to-date picture, and questions can be asked at that time. But I will reiterate that a look back is undermining the not the authority, but the role of the FAC. It's undermining the role of management, which in itself presents risk. So I do not support the motion to move forward next week.
Thank you, Lanny. Do you have any other discussion before we vote on Nellie's motion? Steve?
Thank you, Candy. I think having a presentation next week will be a good chance for the board to get a better idea of where we're heading and help us understand how our budget process is going to work. We have a lot of new board members that don't have a whole lot of experience with our financial reporting, and I think this is a good opportunity because it gives, where else can the board members ask questions about our financials? Like, what's the impact of our new guest pass policy? Um, where are we on the Del Sol Clubhouse on our performance and tracking whether our revenue's increasing from all the great changes that Scott and Steve Kindred are making at the clubhouse? Also, it would be good to know what we can expect from the um, surplus or deficit, the actual versus budget. I mean, that's really what it's all about at the end of the year. And there's a lot that goes into that. So the more information that we're able to learn, the better decisions I think we can make as a board. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Lanny, before I let you go again, I want to hear from Chris. Okay, Chris.
Thank you, Candy. Just in response, I just want to say that I, as a new member, I don't feel that it's undermining anything. I think it's a great learning opportunity for me. And when I think about that concept of informed decision making, I fully support a presentation as a learning opportunity, not as undermining. I have a lot of questions in my head, and I want to ask questions, and I want to just be informed. And so I believe that this is a good move, and I don't think asking questions is undermining.
Thank you, Chris. Lanny, and then Barry.
I have nothing to say. Nothing more to say.
I didn't hear what you. Okay, you have nothing else to say. Okay, thank you, Lanny. Barry?
I find myself in Lanny's camp on this one. Our budget, while it may be complex, we all have a chance to review the financials. They're in our packet. I don't think anyone's opposed, if anyone has a question on any one specific item, for them to forward that question to staff at any point in time, or to Lanny as chair of the FAC for comment. I just think that many of the concerns that some of you are expressing right now are more appropriately addressed when we adopt the budget. You're going to be given all the information on what our performance has been this year, what our expectations are, and you'll include that in the budget. Once the budget is adopted, there isn't much really for us to do unless a surprise comes up. And I fully expect that if a surprise is going to come up, that our staff and CAO would bring it to our attention for consideration.
Thank you, Barry. Scott?
Thank you.
Then Nellie.
Thank you. So what was scheduled back, what would have happened in July, if we would have had a meeting in July, is the CFO would have given a pretty high level quarterly financial report based on the first 2 quarters of the year. So those would be ending June 30th of this year. It's high level. It's not a primer on budgeting 101. I don't think you're going to get the deep level discussion on how do we actually budget. The discussions that we're going to have in September with the FAC and then the board at work sessions is when you're really going to learn a lot more about budgeting. The presentation that the CFO would have given and could give is, again, really high level. This is what we budgeted, and this is where we're at in terms of, are we over, are we under? And he or I could give some very brief explanations on why we're over or why we're under in a particular category. But it was never intended to be a deep dive into budgeting 101. The same with approval of the statements for May, June, and July. This is routine business that the board does generally on a monthly basis if you're meeting that regularly. And if not, uh, they're available. They're available to you. I think as Barry has said, you're certainly welcome to ask those questions. What does this mean? What does this look like? What's the assumption? That type of thing. Director Johnson had mentioned that this would give us an opportunity to talk about the Abrego pool if it were delayed until next week. Respectfully, that wasn't really to be part of the quarterly financial presentation, the quarterly update, or the financials. I've asked and been asked probably 3 or 4 times the same questions concerning the Abrego South Pool, funding, the budget, contract amounts. My answer has consistently been the same. So if that question does come up, my answer will again be the same. I have no new information on that. I can share with all of you the information that I have already provided, but it has not changed. The other thing I want to add is the reality of GVR is we have 3 people in the finance department. We don't have a deep bench. We have one that does accounts payable and accounts receivable. Howie is here and does a great job as the coordinator. Our CFO is out on leave because of a family emergency. I don't know when he's going to get back. I was hoping he could Zoom in today, but he can't. I mean, he's got family issues going on. So I do want to say, simply because if you decide to vote to have this great meeting next week, there is no guarantee, just because you vote to do it, that our CFO is going to be available to present the material that you would like. I mean, we are, and I think Barry once again said it very clearly, we are in the middle of budget season. We are putting together the operations budget. It's a $12 million budget. We've met with all the department heads. We are fine-tuning that budget now. We're looking at how much revenue we actually need in order to offset those expenditures. We're looking at our capital budget. We met with the Fiscal Affairs Committee last week and went over the initiatives capital budget and started to kind of shift and move things about based on cash flow and based on priority on when we could actually reasonably assume to move forward and pay for certain projects. We're working on the MRRA project, which is, or reserve study, which is huge. I mean, this year we had a $2.5 million expenditure plan. We're looking at MRRB, which I know there's a lot of discussions about that, but we don't have a deep bench. It is me, and it is our finance department and our COO, and that's it. So generally, if we're gonna expect to perform and do something that we didn't anticipate, that means we have to put something aside. That just means something else doesn't get done. So we're constantly having to prioritize our workloads. And I think we do that pretty effectively. I said this in an email, I apologize that we're off schedule here. I didn't cancel the meeting in July. But at this point, and I will stick to it, that information is pretty dated. I mean, the Fiscal Affairs Committee is going to be meeting September 15th. That's in just over 2 weeks. You're going to have the most up-to-date information on how we're looking for 2026, year-to-date actuals, year-to-date anticipated actuals for the year end. I would recommend just in terms of the amount of time and bandwidth we actually have, I would say give us that opportunity so that we can have a good solid presentation for the FAC and the board if you want to come to the September 15th FAC meeting. If you want to delay this, however, and just approve the financials next week, and you want maybe a quick second quarter financial update, we could probably do that. But I just want to make sure we're setting expectations clearly. This isn't a deep dive into the budget. It never has been. That's what the budget process is for. Thank you.
Nellie?
I think the quarterly forecast, what we've done in the past and is we've always listed our key assumptions so that it was very obvious to the board people and to our membership at large what was changing each quarter. And to me, that's very critical to have as a piece of information. It is not in the June packet, it's just a set of numbers. So that piece has something that's been done in the past. As far as questions, I did ask specific questions on the financial packet. And I got one answer, but was told to come to the FAC, it would be dealt with then. But at the FAC, we were time constrained. And at the FAC, it was only said, we're going to deal with top line revenue and top line expenses, that's it. And I was sat in the audience waiting to ask the questions. And so as board people, in order to make informed decisions, you have to be able to have the questions answered that you feel that are vital in order to make informed decisions. So to that extent, when we sign off on financials for the auditors and certify that we have informed information, our questions answered, to me, it's important that we have a review of the financials next week.
Thank you, Nellie. Christy, Jody, did you have your hand up?
I did, but I lowered it.
Oh, okay, Christy.
Thank you. For those people that are interested in having this presentation next week, what is the risk of waiting until the FAC committee meeting?
Anybody want to answer that?
Well, I don't think there is. You're going to have September 15th, which is what, 3 weeks from now, but it's information to our members. So every quarter we systematically have done our quarterly with the key assumptions so you can be informed as a board member and the members at large can be informed of what's happening. So if you're not meeting as a finance committee on a quarterly basis, then you need to make sure that our financials and our messages to our members are clear.
Go ahead, Christy.
So it sounds to me like the request here is to add assumptions to the financials when there is no FAC meeting.
On the financial forecast, that's what we've done in the past. We've had a quarterly presentation publicly, but in the document, we've had a document that said, here are your key assumptions, and it answered the responses. But we've also had opportunities to discuss more openly at the FAC meeting and have the questions answered on the monthlies. When they're circulated monthly, we're not supposed to exchange via emails questions on the financial documents. So we as a board member need to have the opportunity to have those questions answered, and it's an oversight role. So it's not an operational role, it's a governance role, an oversight role. And I think our members expect us to be able to have that knowledge base.
Lanny, before I give the mic to you, I want to, I guess, give my 2 cents worth. Lanny has a little bit of different philosophy, I think, than you have, Nellie. And I think that's maybe some of what we're going through right here. I trust Lanny's committee. I mean, in the past, we have accepted or certainly given a lot of weight to what's been said in the FAC committee. I know that Lanny works closely with Scott and our CFO, Dave. So I don't see an issue of not approving the financials at this point, but I understand how you may want some more answers that we can get at another time. So I support Lanny at this point. Thank you. Lanny, now you.
Unmute. I'm going to ignore Nellie's comments about my my governance capabilities or not. I don't think I need a lesson from Nellie on that one. I just have to say that I think Christy hit the nail on the button, as did Scott. We will have updated financials on on September the 15th, at which point in time it'll be an open meeting, at which point in time we'll be able to ask and receive, ask questions and receive answers. I guess one final comment. What has been done in the past is not necessarily best practice. I can actually point, having been on FAC for 4 or 5 years, I can actually point to many occasions where past practice has led to significant management risk and management overload. And yes, Candy, you are correct. I am approaching the FAC somewhat differently, but not really. How I'm approaching FAC, as opposed to previous FAC chairs, is I'm adhering to the spirit of the bylaws as well as to the policies within CPM. So yes, it does represent change, and change is never comfortable, but it's not really change. I'm just adhering to the policies as outlined in the CPM. That's it. And I'm sorry that maybe 1, 2, or 3 of my colleagues are uncomfortable with us following the policies within CPM. But I will continue to advocate until such time as the CPM is changed. I will continue to advocate for us, for FAC and the board, to continue to follow those policies as outlined in CPM. Thank you.
Any more comments from the board before I open it to the audience? Okay, Chris.
Yeah, I just need to respond to that. I am not uncomfortable with following the CPM at all. My core belief is informed decision making. So that's where I'm coming from, not questioning anybody following or not following the CPM on this. I'm just goes down to the core belief of informed decision making. That's it.
Thank you, Chris. Do we have any members in the audience who would make any comment about the financials? Anybody? Okay, I guess not. Okay, so we will now be ready to vote on the motion. Whatever it was, it was to postpone the financials until the discussion at the next meeting next week, something like that. Is that right? Do you have it, Nancy?
Yes, you were close. Postpone the review of financials and for discussion at the next week meeting and incorporate the quarterly financial report ending June 30th.
Okay. All in favor of that long motion, please raise your hand. Okay, Nellie, Chris, and Steve. Okay, those opposed, please raise your hand. Okay, opposed, me, Christy, Dave, Lanny, Bart, Jody, and Barry. Did you get this, Nancy? Yes. Okay, you're welcome. Therefore, the motion does not carry. So now we have to vote to approve them, right? To accept them? Would that be right?
You do.
Okay. So now, Nancy, we need a motion to approve the May, June, July financials.
Can I make a motion? We approve the May, June, July financials.
Yes, Jody. Thank you. And Barry seconds that. So Jody made the motion, Barry seconds the motion. Okay, now we'll vote on that motion to go ahead and accept the financials. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7 yeses and nays, raise your hand. That would be Chris, Nellie, and Steve. Okay, thank you. So the motion has been passed to go ahead and accept the financials, May, June, and July. Okay, now do we have any member comments at all about anything else? No questions, comments? Okay. You have anything, Scott? Okay. Well, if we can move to adjourn if anyone would like to make a motion.
So moved.
Okay, Bart made a motion and Jody seconded. Okay, therefore, this meeting is adjourned at, what time is it?
Got a vote.
46, at 3:46.
Need to vote.
2:40, oh, yes. We need a vote to adjourn. All in favor to adjourn? I want to stay here forever. Okay, that would be all of us, 10. Thank you.
Thanks, Candy.
We've
Take care.
adjourned 2:47. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming, everybody. We appreciate it.